Hello everyone. As 2021 draws to a close, I thought it would be cool to take a look at my mains and averages at the end of the year. I made a similar video last year, and I thought it would be cool to take a look and see how much has changed over the course of a year. Spoiler alert, I didn't practice too much this year, so a lot of my mains and averages will be pretty similar, but there were a few notable changes. Starting off with 2x2, my main is still the Valk 2M. Nothing wrong with this cube for me, it's solid and reliable. It's also the same cube that Zane used to set all his world records this year, so that's cool. I still average around 2 to 3 seconds with CLL. Next up is 3x3, and I'm actually still using the Worm 2020. I didn't end up switching to the 2021 version. I've set that cube up so many different ways, and I haven't found a setup that I like as much as my Worm 2020, so I just didn't switch to it. That said, I feel like I've been averaging a bit faster this year, and I'm starting to get more consistent sub-9 averages. For 4x4, I'm still using the AoSu GTS2M, really considering switching to the MGC or the Worm because I've been getting really good times on those recently, but I haven't committed yet. I'm still averaging around 36 seconds. 5x5 is another main that hasn't changed. The Valk 5M is a good cube for me, and I get decent times with it. I'm still averaging in the 115 range, but I'm really hoping to drop that average this year because it's my worst ranking for 2 through 7, and I'd really like to get sub 110 at least. Last year I used the Shadow V1 6x6, and this year I got the V2, so that's my new main. Yes, I know everyone else seems to use the MGC, and yes, after trying it I admit I think it's a lot better, so I'll probably get that one eventually. But for now, I'm averaging around 215 with my Shadow V2M. I really haven't practiced 7x7 at all in the past year, but I would really like to improve my times next year. I'm still using the Spark over the MGC for the smaller size and more flexible turning, but I really tend to get similar times on both cubes. I'm averaging around 330, which is a bit slower than my official results, so my goal for next year is to average around 315 and get my first sub 3 single. For 3x3 one-handed, I'm using an original WRM. This cube is nice and flexible, so it suits my OH turning style pretty well, and I average around 15 to 16 seconds on it. This cube used to be the Solaritas version, but it's pretty old at this point, and I've re-lubed it with some Traxxas and Mystic, and I've been enjoying the new feel. For 3x3 blind, I used the GTS3M. I've been using this thing for blind for years, and I found it funny that Tommy Cherry just broke the world record on the same cube. Granted, I'm a couple minutes slower than him at blind, but I feel a lot more validated for my main choice now. Either way, I never practiced this event, and I think I got a lot slower because of that, so I'm averaging a bit over 3 minutes now. Next up is Square-1, and this is the event that evolved the most for me over the past year. I switched from the Volt V1 to the MGC, and this was a great upgrade. I dropped my average down to around 15 to 16 seconds, and while I seem to have plateaued a little bit, I'm still way more interested in this event than I was last year. For Skewb, I'm still using the Wingy, just like I have for the past 4 years. I don't really practice Skewb too often, so I'm not too picky about the cube. Regardless, I seem to get good times on it, around 5 to 6 seconds on average. Now, I've been tempted recently to try out the GAN Skewb after seeing Zane and Carter get some amazing results on it, but it's not like I'd instantly become world class after switching. Pyraminx is another event that I want to improve on this year. I'm still using the Bell V2 like last year, but I have since set it up properly, and it's a lot nicer to use now. Pyra Single is my worst world ranking in the WCA, and I'd love to improve that in 2022, so I've been practicing my L4E and getting some consistent 5-second averages. Hopefully I'll be breaking into the 4-second range pretty soon. Now, Megaminx is not an event I really like, but at my most recent comp, I actually broke my PRs out of nowhere, which gave me a little boost of motivation to practice the event. I'm averaging around 120 to 125 with my YuHu V2M, but I'm also considering getting the new Diane V2 Megaminx. I tried Dana's at Slow and Steady last month, and it was surprisingly light and small, which I found appealing. But just like Skewb, I'm gonna need to put in the work to get a decent average first. Changing my main won't drop my average overnight. So those are all my mains and averages for all the WCA events.
Hey, you forgot Clock.
What?
Clock's still in the WCA.
Seriously? Why?
I don't know, man.
Okay. Well, for Clock, I use the QiYi. No surprises there. It's the best clock in the world, without a doubt. Look, I don't want to throw too much shade at Clock. I think it's a fun puzzle. I just don't ever practice it, and I've never even competed in it. Based on the few solves I recorded for this video, I average around 17 seconds. So that actually wraps it up for all my mains and averages at the end of 2021. If you're interested in buying any of the puzzles that I mentioned in this video, you can find links to all of them in the description down below, where you can buy them all from TheCubicle.com. And remember, you can always get 5% off of all your orders from TheCubicle with the discount code LCC. Thanks for watching, and Happy New Year!